Thinking about moving to Raymore, Missouri? Well, imagine a popular lake community, a 55-plus active adult neighborhood, and a charming suburb with all kinds of local entrepreneurs. Well, but the real question is Raymore the right fit for you as you build your legacy in 2025? In this video, I'm going to be giving you some top reasons why you will love Raymore, Missouri. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand a lot of the activities that go on in there. You'll understand and discover the job opportunities that are in this city. And you'll also understand the convenience of this suburb, coupled with a lifestyle as you are building your family, your legacy, and your future, as well as what real estate options are available. So be sure and stick to the very end so that you can discover all of the things that this charming city called Raymore has to offer. If we've never met before, my name is Anita Cordell, and I create videos about what it's really like to work here, live here, and play here in the Kansas City metropolitan area. And I'm also a licensed real estate agent both on the Kansas side and the Missouri side, and I've helped hundreds of people just like you find a location where they can build a legacy and plant some roots here in Kansas City. And by the time you finish with this video, Raymore, Missouri might be the best decision for your family that you've ever made. My husband grew up in the Kansas City metropolitan area, but I did not. I am actually a pastor's kid, and in the early ages of my life, we would move around a lot while we were serving and helping in churches. And we finally settled on a city called Leavenworth, Kansas, which is outside of the Kansas City metropolitan area. And we stayed there for a while and then moved away to help another church and then came back. And ever since we came back, we planted our roots and I started to grow my family, and it's been one of the best decisions that I've ever made. Now, I know that moving is a huge decision and you probably have a lot of questions. So let's dive in and let me show you why I think you'll love Raymore, Missouri. So grab your notebook, cozy on up to your couch, and watch me on your big screen as we talk about Raymore, Missouri. The first reason why you'll love Raymore, Missouri is its small town charm, aka community feel. With a population of about 25,000 as of last year's census, this puts Raymore, Missouri in one of the smaller cities of the Kansas City area. Belton is one of the neighboring cities. It's right next to Raymore. It's very similar in size, and so they kind of are like brother and sister, if you will. And both of those cities are really great sizes, but it's one of the reasons why people love Raymore. It offers this small town feel that neighbors know each other, and there's community events that are almost like a staple to the city. Now, where is it, you may ask? It's right on the southern part of the entire Kansas City metropolitan area. It butts up to one of the largest counties in our whole city and the largest county in Missouri when it comes to the Kansas City metro area. That largest county is called Jackson County. Raymore is in Cass County, which is actually one of the pros of why people like living in Raymore. Jackson County is very large. It has about 700,000 people in it. And some people say that it's getting too big and they really want to be in a smaller community. And people are starting to also get affected by property tax increases. So if you are moving here to the metro area or you're wanting to purchase in a home, you'll want to know about what's going on in the Jackson area when it comes to the taxes. And there are some people who I've spoken with that actually need to move out of Jackson County and move into one of the surrounding counties because they've almost been taxed out of their home because the taxes are getting a little bit high. And when they move, Raymore is one of those spotted cities that people move to because it's so attractive and they love that small town feel, the little city, and yet still close to the big city amenities. You just get that community feel. There's a lot of local shops, local businesses, and things that you can support to create that community feel as well. And the clients and the friends of mine that live in Raymore, Missouri absolutely love living there. Raymore's residents and supporters are consistently demonstrating exceptional generosity, and they support initiatives such as like food donations and food drives. There's even an initiative for homeless animals in Raymore where the animal control as well as the Raymore Police Department have partnered together and have formulated some initiatives to help that situation and to hopefully find new homes for some of these animals. There's also memorial benches in the parks. There's arts programs that enhance the city's quality of life. And there's so much surrounding Raymore, especially when it comes to small businesses. And when you shop local and when you are doing business in a small city such as Raymore, whether it's focusing on supporting just that one business, or if you decide to buy just one product, you're investing in that community. And in fact, there are so many small businesses and local entrepreneurs that there's even a Facebook page or several Facebook pages specifically about the city of Raymore and the small businesses in there, where they will actually rave about those small businesses on Facebook and in those groups. So your purchases are not only sustaining local jobs, but they're strengthening this local community here called Raymore. And it's really preserving that distinctive characteristic about Raymore. And it's such a great place to live, and supporting small businesses is so important, and it's key to keeping the vibrancy and the prosperity of Raymore growing. Now, before I go on to the second reason why I think you'll love Raymore, in the description below, there is a link, and all my contact information is in that description. But there's a link, and the very first part of our plan is to go ahead and set up an appointment. We'll just have a quick Zoom call and talk about your real estate goals. So if you click on that link, it'll go right to my calendar, and we can set up an appointment, whether that is in a year from now or quickly in just a week that you're wanting to make some decisions. I can help you go ahead and get started. Okay, the second reason why I think you're going to love Raymore is dealing with the growth. Now, I know that Raymore is a very small city, but there is a ton of growth on the horizon. In fact, that should be a very positive thing, because Raymore is not stagnant, and nor is it dying. It is thriving and growing, and it is so exciting. Raymore, Missouri is obviously, like I said, relatively small compared to the other cities in the Kansas City metropolitan area. But just to give you a perspective, there is a town that is about 15 minutes away from Raymore called Lee Summit, Missouri. Lee Summit, Missouri's population is right at about 100,000 people, and that encompasses the entire Cass County and the population of Cass County, which is where Raymore is. So you're talking about one whole county is in that one city. That's the reason why Jackson County is so large. And Lee Summit has its own growth and initiatives and some really exciting things about it. But Raymore is experiencing some very rapid growth. In fact, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, Raymore was the fastest growing city in the whole entire state of Missouri, and the 66th fastest growing city in the country. In fact, over the last year, we've seen about $35 million in residential construction and investment activity in the city of Raymore. And there's been $18 million in commercial construction and investments in the city of Raymore. And this growth is fueled really by new housing developments and this influx of more small businesses that are getting attracted to Raymore, making Raymore such a great destination for families and professionals. Plus, did you know that there are thousands of acres of land that is still yet to be developed in and around Raymore? And this also is a very exciting thing when we're talking about the growth potential of this area. People recognize this, and the numbers don't lie. In fact, the annual population growth in Raymore alone is 7.26% compared to the annual growth rate of the entire Kansas City metropolitan area. That number is only 1.19%. So when we're talking about growth, Raymore is certainly inviting new residents in. They are not just walking. These new residents are running to Raymore. Also, too, what's exciting is not only is Raymore the 66th fastest growing city in the entire country, but Raymore ranks number 1 in the entire Kansas City metropolitan area, both on the Kansas side and the Missouri side, for single-family building permits issued per capita, and is one of the fastest growing communities in the state of Missouri. So if people are coming to the city of Raymore, what does the housing look like? You probably are asking me. Well, that's interesting because there is some really cool data that show some fun things about Raymore. So first of all, when we're looking at the entire Kansas City metropolitan area, about 90% of all of the houses have basements, and that encompasses 6 counties that are all surrounding the Kansas City metro area, both on the Kansas and the Missouri side. That's 10% of all of the homes do not have basements, where they usually sit on a slab or a crawl space. So the demographics of Raymore, when it comes to the last 6 months of sales, there were 225 homes that sold in Raymore in the last 6 months. Out of the 225 homes that sold in Raymore in the last 6 months, 42 of them did not have basements. That's 18% of the properties in Raymore don't have basements versus 10% across the Kansas City metro area. Then out of 225 homes that sold in the last 6 months, 33 of them were in an HOA, provided lawn maintenance to the residents there. Then out of that, 33 of them only had 2 bedrooms. And so when I'm helping people build a legacy in Kansas City and they're wanting to include their parents in this, and their parents might be selling their home and wanting to live a little closer to the grandkids or whatever, they're fine with 2-bedroom homes. They're wanting to downsize, simplify their life, get rid of a whole bunch of things. And so keeping that in mind, that data is intensely interesting because there's so many properties in Raymore that don't have a basement, that are 2 bedrooms, that provide lawn care maintenance. And those pieces of data, it's just crazy. But that's not all. Out of the 225 homes that sold, 110 of them were either ranch style homes or they were called a reverse story and a half, which means that the master bedroom or the primary bedroom is on the main level, including the laundry. And if it does have a basement, there's a couple of bedrooms down in the basement. It's space that's not even needed necessarily. That is almost half of all of the homes that sold in the last 6 months are ranches or reverse story and a halves. So what does all that data mean, you're probably asking me? While families are loving Raymore, especially with the communities like Creekmore and the lake communities, and there's so much more about Raymore that I'll talk about here in a minute, the thing about Raymore also is that they can bring their parents along to Raymore, and there's going to be housing options for them. The lifestyle of having your grandparents with your grandbabies, bringing it along and helping with your kids, that lifestyle and having your parents live by, it's priceless. There's nothing that you can put on that. And with the median age of Raymore being 40 years old, all age ranges can find their tribe in that. It's so amazing to have options for our aging parents to live nearby our families. And now the pricing of the homes there. So the average sales price in Raymore is right close to the average of the entire metropolitan area, right at about $400,000. And that's for a 3-bedroom, 2 full bath home that's got about 2,100 square feet on it. But what's cool about the 225 homes that sold in the last 6 months is that there's a wide range of properties that sold in that. You can get a 2-bedroom, 2 full bath home that's a little villa that just sits in, a cute little neighborhood or whatever, under $175,000 for your downsizing parent. Or you can have some options to live with you because there's some options like a story and a half or some other style homes where you can put your parents into it. Like there's some in Creekmore. They're around $700,000. Creekmore is a lifestyle in and of itself. In my video, when I go over all of the lake communities that are in the Kansas City area, I talk about Creekmore, and I've talked about Creekmore in other videos. So it is a lifestyle in and of itself. There's clubs to join, there's dining, and you can learn more about it, on those videos. But that's not even it. If you wanted more of luxury living, there are properties that are all the way up over $2 million on acreage. And so there's a wealth of high quality homes with a lot of choices spanning from starter homes or downsized homes for your parents all the way up to luxury estates. So building a legacy in the city of Raymore with your family around, serving your community, building a life of faith could be a fantastic decision for you. All right, the third reason why I know that you're going to love Raymore is all the activities that are in and around Raymore. You might think that since it's out away from the city that there's not a ton to do, but there's big city amenities in a short drive away. So the community, of course, is one of those pros that I've talked about, that you're going to really enjoy that small town feel. Even though there's a small city and there's not a mall around and you don't have certain large chains that are in Raymore, you absolutely can find those in just a short drive around. You can shop in Lee Summit, you can shop over in Overland Park, you can go shopping and out to eat in just a quick drive. You don't have to go very far to get some of these big city experiences. There's a lot of activities that are around Raymore, including the Raymore Recreation Park and Hops Ridge Park. So for more outer lining, unique experiences that you are closer to, you've got to go and check out Yaya's Alpaca Farm. I've been there before and it is so fun to go and pet the alpacas. It's such a great homeschooling adventure idea as well. Then you've got the berry patch, which every summer I love to go and pick blueberries at the berry patch. And if you are in the equine lifestyle, it doesn't take very long to find several locations that give riding lessons where you don't have to drive very far to get those riding lessons for your kids or whomever in your family wants to take riding lessons. And then you've got Rock Island Spur State Park. And those are just a few of the things that go on in Raymore or around the Raymore area. But you also have access to big city amenities and restaurants, like I mentioned before. Lee Summit is only about 15 to 20 minute drive away, and there are tons of shops, tons of places to go eat, all kinds of fun things to do. You've got Arcade Alley, you've got multiple escape rooms, you've got the Aaron's Family Fun Center, and if you go even more north, there's more shopping and more activities. Plus, there's Longview Lake, where all kinds of activities happen there, including Christmas in the park. So why is this location something that people love? Well, another thing is that if you don't love to travel a lot, then Raymore is a great location because you just don't have to go very far. So you don't have to go very far either on the weekends and find fun things. In fact, Raymore is in such a fantastic location. It's on the southern part of Kansas City, and it makes it super easy to get to locations like the Ozarks and to Branson, where there are family activities. You can just spend the weekend there, or, obviously if your parents live in and around the city of Raymore near you, then it's a great place for them to just get away for the weekend and go to Branson. You'll just want to consider Raymore, especially if you frequent those locations a lot. In fact, a lot of my clients and friends have a second home in the Ozarks or the Branson area, and so it makes it really nice to be on the southern part of Kansas City because you're that much closer to that area. And also, too, there's a lot of 55 and older communities that are popping up in and around the area of Raymore, probably because of the reason that a lot of people are starting to retire in this area and they want to live in this small city versus in the bigger metro area, and they want to be closer to their family and their grandkids, but they also want to be closer to the Ozark area and to the Branson area. So where they like to go and where you like to go could be very, very similar. And when the weather is great, it's such a fantastic place to go visit in the summer. Now, let's talk about traveling with the airport. If you do like to travel and you don't mind a drive to the airport, it takes about an hour to get to the Kansas City International Airport from Raymore, Missouri. The next reason why I know you'll love Raymore, Missouri has to do with job growth and opportunities. Now, Raymore boasts this workforce that productivity offers 40% greater value per hour compared to the national average. So the people in Raymore are very high quality people, and that shows on the number. And this makes conducting business in Raymore a lot more cost effective because you have higher quality people. And it's because the people here If you are wanting to live in this city and you work right down this street, then you will be happy to note that the jobs that are available in Raymore include jobs like the health industry. Scientific and technical services are also very popular. Education is very popular in Raymore, and admin support is also very popular in the Raymore area. And even manufacturing jobs are also on the rise in Raymore. Now, the next reason why I know you'll love Raymore has to do with the schools, including homeschooling and private schools. Schools in Raymore are included in a school district called RAPEC. They include Raymore and the Peculiar School District. It combines them all together, and that entire school district includes about 6,400 students. And it also includes several academies for smaller learning experiences, including like special education programs. And according to niche.com, RAPEC school districts received an overall score of a B+, which is fantastic, by the way. And schools like Creekmore Elementary and Timber Creek Elementary have received very high marks for academic performances. Now, let's talk about schools according to the greatschools.org website, where you'll see the ranking of the schools in the Raymore area. If you pull up that website and look at the grades, there's a ranking system where they will rank all the schools from 0 to 10. So no matter where you're wanting to buy into the neighborhood, you'll want to go to greatschools.org and look at the rankings there. You'll see that Raymore area and anywhere around there, some of them, there's scores of 7 and 8s and 6s. And then some of the websites say those scores are a little higher. Or greatschools.org is a website that the people behind it are really advocating for having greater schools. And also, if you are a teacher, you can look at these schools and see where the ratings are. And especially since Raymore has a high job opportunity profile for education, you'll want to go and look at those rankings just to see if those types of school districts would be something that you would want to consider. And if you are moving to the Raymore, you might want to consider changing jobs or changing into those school districts. They're great school districts. So when it comes to the ranking of the schools, you'll see that very rarely are there rankings of 10s. I don't see them very much, but I do see the 6s, the 7s, and the 8s. And so some people consider not having a 10 on a school as a con, but I don't see that very much. When it comes to schools in Raymore, you've got those 6s, 7s, and 8s, and you'll want to live in one of those higher ranking school districts if that's what you are looking for. Let's talk about homeschool now. I absolutely love homeschoolers. We homeschooled for about 10 years. When 2 of my kids were littler, we homeschooled them and absolutely loved it. Raymore has its own homeschool community. It's called the Raymore Homeschool Enrichment Co-op, and it's hosted by Pathway Church of Raymore. Then there's also another homeschool community called DHA, and this co-op is one that I participated in with 2 of my kids. And when we went there was only 1 location, and now there are 4 different locations in the metro area. It's called DHA Academy, and Belton and Pleasant Hill are super close to Raymore and could provide you with some co-op opportunities if you want to homeschool. But then when my kids got a little older, we went to a private Christian school called SCA. It's called Summit Christian Academy, and we went to that location in Lee Summit, and that's where my 2 youngest kids graduated from high school. The next reason why I know you'll love Raymore is the cost of living. Raymore's cost of living is approximately 8% lower than the national average, making it affordable for so many people. And when it comes to rentals, the rental properties are even low in number. According to apartments.com, you can average a 2-bedroom apartment for about $1,627 a month. So the cost of living, as you can see, is actually really great. This includes housing, utilities, shopping, groceries, gas, and all of that. So you'll want to consider Raymore, Missouri, and you'll want to consider living in a community that might be smaller, where the cost of living is less. And another great thing about Raymore, Missouri is that there is 80% home ownership. Another reason why you'll love Raymore, Missouri and the entire Kansas City metropolitan area is because we love our sports. If you are into sports, you are going to love it here because we have our Chiefs, we have our soccer teams, we have hockey, we have even girls soccer. Now, these are professional sports teams that Kansas City has. And so no matter what community you live in, whether you land in Raymore or whether you land in a bigger city like Lee Summit or Overland Park, wherever you land, there is a huge fan base that surrounds the Kansas City metropolitan area. No matter what sport you like, you're going to find your tribe who loves that sport too. I hope you enjoyed this video about Raymore. Please subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and if you're thinking about making a move here, let me help you out. Set up a phone call with me. My contact information is in the description below. All you have to do is click on that link. It goes right to my calendar, and we will set up our very first step with that Zoom call and talk about your real estate goals. And be sure and check out the other videos all about the Kansas City metro area on this channel as well. And until next time, go out and live your best Kansas City life.